Behind every strong dollar, stable job market, and rescued recession, there's the Federal Reserve quietly holding the line. It's the invisible hand Americans trust, guiding interest rates, calming crises, and keeping the entire system steady. That's the story we have all been told, at least the comforting version of it. But it's definitely not the truth we're uncovering today. There is something very strange about the way money works in America. The Federal Reserve is presented as the protector of the U.S. economy. But if that's true, why does everything keep getting worse? Prices rise faster than your paycheck ever can. Bills land heavier every single month. Rent climbs faster than you can save up. And every year, your little savings continue to lose more and more value. It's a slow squeeze. No matter how hard you work, the system keeps pushing you down and down and down. Even when the headlines say the economy is booming, your life isn't. Everything remains the same, making stability feels like an illusion. Meanwhile, entire banks collapse, investment firms crumble, people watch retirement accounts evaporate overnight. All of this under a system that's supposed to keep things steady. Since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, the U.S. has gone through more than 20 recessions. The dollar has lost over 95% of its purchasing power, and the nation's debt has climbed into the tens of trillions. At some point, you can't help but wonder if this is what protection looks like. What exactly is happening behind the curtain? How could the Federal Reserve be causing all of this? That's probably what you're thinking right now. And honestly, that skepticism makes sense. So let's slow down for a moment and examine the structure of the system. The Federal Reserve has two major levers that shape the entire economy: interest rates and money supply. Everything else is built on top of these two foundations. Interest rates decide how expensive it is to borrow money. When rates fall, money moves faster. When rates rise, money tightens and slows. Money supply, on the other hand, is about how much currency the system is actually running on. And this isn't limited to printing physical cash. Most of it happens digitally through mechanisms like quantitative easing, bond buying, and liquidity injections. All quiet, all behind the scenes, but powerful enough to shift the financial landscape. Quantitative easing, for example, is when the Fed buys assets, usually government bonds, with newly created digital money. This isn't a rare emergency tool anymore. It has become a routine way of adding money into the system. Monetary stimulus works the same way, flooding the economy with liquidity to keep things from slowing down. We're not at the deep reveal yet. This is just the foundation, the part you need before the actual mechanism makes sense. The mechanics themselves are simple. A few levers, quietly adjusted, almost invisible, but the consequences? That's where the story starts to twist. Every decision, every adjustment the Fed makes ripples across the system. Who benefits? Who absorbs the cost? And how much a dollar's worth? It's all part of the design. Lowering interest rates and injecting more money into the system might seem like small technical decisions, but the result is unmistakable. More money chasing the same goods drives prices higher, leading to every dollar you have slowly losing value. The system quietly erodes purchasing power, almost imperceptibly at first, then steadily, relentlessly. This is the first real consequence. And yet even here, the Fed appears neutral, almost benevolent. Stimulate the economy, protect growth, keep lending flowing. All of it sounds reasonable until you realize that each adjustment is carefully calibrated, like a subtle hand guiding the flow of money in a way that systematically diminishes what you already hold. But this doesn't stop here, because what you've just seen is only the first crack in a much larger chain reaction. Everything up to this point has shown the surface mechanics, the chain reaction, the rising pressure, the widening gap. But beneath all of it lies a deeper truth, one most people never even realize exists. Consider what typically happens in a recession. Asset prices fall, companies become cash-starved, households cut spending, markets freeze as uncertainty takes over. This is the moment when most people pull back, simply trying to preserve what they have. But the entities closest to the money creation process are not restrained by this fear or scarcity. Why? Money doesn't enter the economy evenly. It never has. And the order in which new money touches society determines who gains wealth and who unknowingly hands it over. When the central bank injects money into the system, it doesn't appear in your bank account or in your paycheck or in local businesses. It enters through very specific channels: large banks, major financial institutions, government bond markets, and corporations with direct access to credit markets. These are the first receivers, the closest to the source, and timing is everything. Because when new money arrives at the top, it arrives before prices adjust, before the market reacts, before inflation creeps through the system. Those who receive it first spend, invest, and acquire assets while prices are still low. They buy stocks, real estate, commodities, companies, everything that will later become more expensive once the ripple reaches everyone else. By the time that same money filters down to ordinary workers, through wages, loans, government spending, or delayed economic activity, the environment has already shifted. Prices have already climbed, assets have already inflated, opportunities that were once affordable have already been priced out. Economists have a name for this pattern, the Cantillon effect. It describes how those nearest to the creation of new money benefit disproportionately. Rich people aren't getting richer because of a conspiracy. They're getting richer because they stand at the front of the line, and everyone else stands at the back. The basics is simple. The value of money depends on when you receive it. And that timing, controlled by who gets access to new liquidity first, creates a quiet form of wealth extraction. Not through taxes, not through theft, not through corruption, but through the sequence of events itself. By the time the ripple completes its journey, the first receivers own more assets at lower prices with higher returns. For the early recipients, inflation acts as a multiplier. This is why recessions, paradoxically, often become moments of extraordinary wealth expansion for the people positioned closest to the source of new money. It's no accident. It's the architecture of the system. Low interest rates make borrowing cheap. The wealthy and institutions take full advantage. They buy assets at a pace that drives prices up across the board. Liquidity surges through the markets, fueling this mindset of risk-taking, which leads investors to chase returns aggressively. Speculation spreads, inflating prices far beyond underlying value. Companies and markets inflate, causing gains to concentrate at the top. Meanwhile, the everyday worker feels the squeeze differently. Each action pushes the next, a chain reaction of risk and leverage. The result is a system in which policies designed to stimulate growth instead widen the inequality gap. The cycle reinforces itself. Money moves faster toward the top, leaving everyone else to catch up. The system is interconnected. The consequences are visible everywhere. And yet it all starts with two levers: the manipulation of interest rates and money supply. Once you understand who benefits first, the next question becomes harder to avoid: who absorbs the cost? For a majority of people, wages don't rise at the same speed as asset prices or currency devaluation. They move slowly, often years behind the shifts made by central banks. So while new money lifts markets, the average worker's paycheck barely changes. A family saves money with discipline, only to discover that the value of that effort is shrinking in real terms. The reward for waiting becomes regret. And when the pressure tightens, people turn to debt, not out of recklessness, but necessity. Mortgages, student loans, credit cards, medical bills. Debt becomes the bridge between what life costs and what wages can no longer cover. And the darker irony is that debt itself is shaped by the policies that created the gap in the first place. Some begin depending on government assistance. Others take additional jobs. Many simply adjust their expectations downward. Smaller homes, fewer choices, delayed dreams. The cost is quiet, cumulative, and rarely acknowledged. There is no headline for this part of the story. These are the people who never get access to new money early, who never experience the upside of expansions. Once all the pieces are on the table, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Inflation is a mechanism that quietly helps the wealthy accumulate more assets, while the value of everyone else's earnings falls behind. When the currency weakens, debts become easier to repay for those holding billions in loans. Rising asset prices enrich those who already own them. Stagnant wages keep labor cheap, and the people who benefit the most from this arrangement are the same ones positioned closest to the tools that create it. This is why the wealthy fear deflation in a way ordinary people never will. A world where prices fall sounds like relief for workers, but it threatens the very engine that multiplies the wealth of the elite. In the United States, falling prices are framed as dangerous. But in China, where deflation has recently appeared, Western commentators describe it like an approaching disaster, even though everyday people paying less for goods would feel like a breath of air after years of suffocation. But after everything we've uncovered, discovered the logic becomes painfully simple. Inflation benefits the elites, and that is the clarity. By now, the contradiction is clear. We are told the system exists to provide stability, yet we live in a state of permanent economic erosion. But we need to stop looking at the Federal Reserve as a failing institution and start looking at it as a highly successful one. It isn't failing to protect the dollar. It is succeeding at moving wealth. The technical language, the quantitative easing, the target rates, it all serves as a shroud. It's designed to make you feel that the economy is too complex for you to understand, so that you won't question why your hard work buys less every single year. This is actually the theft of time. When the value of the currency is drained, the hours you spent earning that money are effectively stolen. It's a retroactive drain on your labor. Every hour you've already spent working for that money becomes worth less after the fact. It's like running a race where the finish line is moved back 10 feet for every 10 feet you run. You didn't lose the race because you were slow. You lost because the geometry of the track was changed while you were running. The real tragedy, however, isn't found in a central bank's balance sheet. It's found in the quiet, compounding desperation of the people who don't even know the game is rigged. We see it in the father working 2 jobs while his savings melt away. We see it in the children starting life in a hole they didn't dig, told that if they just work harder, they'll catch up, even as the finish line is moved further back every decade. Most people call this bad luck or a tough economy, but this cycle of disadvantage doesn't just happen by accident. It is built. If you've made it this far, like the video, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss my upcoming video. By doing so, you're ensuring you don't miss the deep dives we're going to discuss in newer videos. And if you want to know how this trap is set for the average family and why, for most people, the cycle of poverty is a self-fulfilling prophecy they never saw coming. To see exactly how that cycle of poverty is engineered to repeat across generations, you need to watch this.